For much of the ancient world, illness was a terrifying mystery. In a pre-scientific society that widely believed demons and magic were the primary causes of disease, healing often relied on mystical exorcisms and protective formulas. Seeking physical treatment meant navigating a disorganized landscape. Patients had to gamble their lives on a mix of local herbalists, temple priests, and practitioners of Hippocratic theory, a system that attempted to heal by balancing bodily humors like blood and bile. Between the 1st and 2nd centuries CE, the Anatolian trade hub of Ephesus evolved into a primary medical center for the Roman Empire during the reigns of emperors Trajan and Hadrian. To address the dangers of unregulated quackery, the civic leaders of Ephesus moved to standardize the medical profession, creating a new system to verify who was actually qualified to practice. The city established a physical foundation for public health first. Engineering separated clean drinking water from waste, while vast bath complexes offered hydrotherapy, where doctors prescribed specific temperatures, like the calidarium for heat, to treat ailments like rheumatism. Beyond urban planning, Ephesian doctors relied on manufactured, specialized medical technology that reflects many tools in use today. Archaeological finds from the city reveal an arsenal of bronze instruments, scalpels, forceps, and delicate bone probes. These include trepanning drills for brain surgery and vaginal specula that share the basic mechanical design of their modern equivalents. However, owning a bronze scalpel did not guarantee a physician's competence. The city required a way to ensure that practitioners knew how to use these tools safely. While infrastructure and tools provided the groundwork, creating a reliable profession required a method for distinguishing experienced experts from amateurs. The Great Asclepieia was a 2-day festival honoring the god of healing that hosted a grueling medical tournament for doctors traveling from across the empire. This was a high-stakes public peer review system driven by the intellectual competitiveness of the Second Sophistic era, which treated clinical expertise as a performance. We have epigraphic proof of these contests in stone inscriptions that detailed the results and identified the chief physicians who directed the proceedings. The inscriptions outline 4 technical categories of testing: syntagma, or medical essays; chirurgia, the practice of surgery; problema, which involved solving clinical theses; and organon, the use of medical instruments. By requiring physicians to publicly defend their diagnostic logic and surgical techniques against their peers, Ephesus established a professional hierarchy based on verified clinical skill. This rigorous environment produced some of history's most influential practitioners. Soranus of Ephesus authored a massive text on gynecology and pioneered a humane approach to mental illness, recommending rest and therapy over physical restraints. He documented specific clinical innovations, including the use of a birthing chair and a standardized system for evaluating the health of newborns that mirrors the modern APGAR score. His contemporary, Rufus of Ephesus, advanced the field of clinical anatomy. While many relied on theory, Rufus accurately mapped the internal structures of the human brain. This model illustrates his findings: the optic chiasm, where the optic nerves cross in the brain, and the protective membranes known as the pia mater and the dura mater. In his work, Questiones Medicinalis, Rufus argued that a doctor could not rely on observation alone. They had to systematically interrogate the patient to understand their unique experience of the illness. By merging detailed anatomical mapping with this methodical clinical history-taking, Soranus and Rufus shifted medicine away from abstract theory and toward a practice centered on the individual. The clinical excellence of Ephesian doctors resulted in significant civic power. Emperor Hadrian granted these recognized physicians legal immunities, freeing them from certain taxes and military service. The influence of Ephesus persisted long after the empire. The textbooks of Soranus and Rufus were translated into Latin and Arabic, becoming the medical standards for centuries. These specific Ephesian texts dictated surgical and gynecological practices through the Middle Ages and into the early modern era, remaining in use for over 1,500 years. Every time a doctor takes a medical history, uses a speculum, or works under the oversight of a medical board, they are utilizing a system with ancient roots. While Ephesus is often celebrated for its massive temples and trade, it left a lasting legacy through the early development of the professional medical standards we rely on today.